Mm-hmm.
And there's a number of different ways. You can volunteer in your community or to do projects that improve the community. Right here, you're right on the edge of the Ice Age Trail,
right.
So working on the Ice Age Trail. You can work with youth organizations to provide broader opportunities for youth, mentoring. Those are all parts of sort of the community structure that are part of making our life here in Wisconsin a good place to live.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin's pretty good about that sort of thing. We have a lot of community involvement. But then there's also the politics side, and that's another.
Yeah.
And there's school board, there's local units of government, mayors and city councils, or there's a state level.
Mm-hmm.
And you can either run for office yourself or be active in helping somebody else get elected.
Mm-hmm.
There's referendums for school boards, for referendums for school districts,
Yeah.
and I know there's 41 of those. These are an important activity in the community is
mm-hmm.
to make sure the schools are funded. So there's just a wide variety of areas, and every single effort like that loves to have a volunteer come.
Right.
So
mm-hmm.
there's no shortage of opportunity.
Okay.
If anybody wants to volunteer on my campaign, I'd be glad to.
Of course. Okay, well, moving on to a more national topic. How do you feel about the current race for presidency?
I am supporting Barack Obama. I think he has articulated a new vision that rises above the kind of scorched earth politics that we've been experiencing for the last 15 years. And it's my hope, and it's my firm belief that we really need to have a new direction for this country, both internationally as well as nationally, and to elevate our political discourse to a new level. I have not heard this kind of inspirational leadership
mm-hmm.
since John F. Kennedy,
right.
And I'm old enough to remember John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, a lot of people say that too. My dad says that a lot too.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why I'm supporting Senator Obama, because I think he articulates that in a way that no other candidate does.
Mm-hmm. So, if you were elected president, then what's the first thing you would do?
If I was elected president, I think I would look how we could withdraw our troops from Iraq and Afghanistan
mm-hmm.
as quickly as possible.
Mm-hmm. What are your plans for the future in politics?
I plan to run for the state senate this
mm-hmm.
fall.
Yeah.
I'm up for election in November. I've enjoyed being this state representative and state senator.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I have the personality and the skills to do a good job at it, and I think I have done a good job.
Right.
And so I look forward to continuing to do this for another 4 years, and I hope the voters feel the same way.
Okay. Well, the Democrats have a slight majority in the Senate, whereas the Republicans have a slight majority in the Assembly. So, with, like you said, the elections are on the horizon for November. How can you maintain a Democratic majority in the Senate and possibly gain a majority in the Assembly?
Well, the way you obtain the majority is by running good candidates in as many races as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular election cycle, as well as the last election cycle, the Democrats were able to recruit very good candidates.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's largely because Republicans are in a down cycle. They have been somewhat discredited by policies of the national administration, and it's most Republican people who might run as Republicans find that as like it's an uphill battle to try and win. So we've been fortunate as Democrats to be able to recruit really good candidates, and I think it bodes well for elections here in Wisconsin in the fall.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, Senator Miller, thanks a lot for coming out, taking time on your busy schedule to join us on our little show. That's all I have for you today.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I hope this kind of a communication with the community continues, and I applaud you for this effort. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And you stay tuned for more programming on WLHS Productions. What's Up With That? After the short commercial break, I'll have an interview with Lodi EMT Linda Brimmer. Stay tuned.
Hey guys, let's dip. Bummer's overrated. I'll get my chaw on.
Oh yeah. Yes, that's a wonderful idea.
Hey Carly, wanna come?
Yeah, I don't think so, guys. man lives today is using the same amount of nicotine as a heavy smoker who smokes 30 to 40 cigarettes a day. Many people who chew tobacco or dip sniff think that it's safer than smoking. But you don't have to smoke tobacco for it to be dangerous. Chewing or dipping carries risks like
Cancer of the mouth, you can have exposed tooth roots, pulling away the gums from the teeth, and white patches and red sores that can turn to cancer.
Recent research shows that danger of smoking tobacco may go beyond the mouth and might also play a role in other cancers, heart disease, and stroke. Smokeless tobacco contains more nicotine than cigarettes.
Nicotine is a highly addictive drug that makes it hard to stop once you start using tobacco. Having a quit date and a quitting plan can help you stop successfully. You're right, Carly. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be addicted for the rest of my life.
Yeah, Tommy.
I'm dropping this habit. Good
We're
choice.
so proud of you.
Without further ado, give it up for my second guest, Lodi EMT Linda Brimmer. All right. Well, first of all, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule of saving lives and whatnot to join us on our little show. First question, how long have you been in the service here at Lodi, and how did you become interested in becoming an EMT?
Well, that was quite unique. Did you ask me this month? As of May 1st, I've been on the service for 30 years.
Congratulations.
So my husband and I joined 30 years ago, May 1st. And what was the other part of that question?
Well, what got you interested in being an EMT?
There was an article in the newspaper, and it was stating how badly we needed people in the Lodi area to come forward to be on the service. And my husband and I talked about it, and we thought it was something that we could do together because of all the training. You have a lot of time together that way. And we decided to give it a try. The thought was is if we could give Lodi a year, it would be a good thing. And 30 years later, we're still both on it. So
Wow.
that's the way it goes.
How long has the EMT service itself existed in Lodi?
The EMS in general has only been really in existence since 1968. But the service itself did not exist until 1970. Before that, it was part of the fire department. And in 1970, there was some political things going on, and there was a division at that time between the fire department and the EMS. And we became our own entity in 1970.
All right. With being an EMT, what does your job generally entail? Take us through a typical day. Yes.
It is 80% boredom with maybe 10% fright and another 10% of routine. When you're on a volunteer service, and the reason they are volunteer services is that a community does not have the number of calls to justify a paid service. So we may only have, I shouldn't say anything because it could go off at any minute. We have not had a call in Lodi since, I think it was Friday during the day. So we've had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and now Tuesday. But that's right, the moment you say something, and that's what I mean about 80% boredom.
Right.
Now, I cannot do anything that I cannot be at the ambulance station in 3 to 4 minutes. Think of all the things that you would do in your day that you could not break away with in 3 to 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So you do very little. But then you may be at a car accident with 2 people dead. You may be in an elderly person's house that the person's expired. At any moment, anything horrific could happen.
Right.
And then you have the more routine calls where somebody is just sick and needs a gentle ride to the hospital. So your days are very
Unexpected.
unexplainable.
Right.
Okay?
Unpredictable.